Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Jahid.
How
are you today? How is everything there?
It's been doing great. How about yours? You feel okay right now?
Yeah, getting better.
Okay.
I feel better. Okay. I think you have gone through method overloading and method overriding, right?
Yes, we watched the video today.
Okay. Now, actually, if you have the concept clear, then it's fine. Okay. Usually, maybe we are not going to work with overloading and method overriding very often. Maybe sometimes we will be working in TestNG, but in BDD Cucumber, we don't usually. So it may not be useful for our projects, but it is a must question in the interview. Okay. So if interviewer asks you, do you have familiar with overloading?
Yes.
Yes. Could you please tell me about overloading with an example?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the method overloading is, in the methods, it have to have same name with the different parameters. For example, they have the same name, just like as we write on the names, and we will have different parameters, just like a string, and one method has int and another one have to have like string. That's it. And if we have the same parameters, it will show us an error message, so that we cannot execute that code.
Why do we use overloading? Why do we use overloading?
We use overloading so that we can have different parameters.
Actually, not the reason. The reason is to save our time. When we create different methods, like 10 methods, especially in test automation, for every test case, we have to create several methods, right? So we have to create a lot of methods, okay? Even in programming, those who are developers, they use this much. They need to code a lot of, they code longer programming. And when they create a lot of methods, different methods, in one way, they have to spend a lot of time creating methods. And they have to spend a lot of time writing the block of codes. But if you just create a one method and just copy and paste 10 times, it saves time just using different parameters. Just you are overloading with different parameters. but same name. Remember, in Java, usually same name methods are not allowed until or unless you use different parameters. Okay. So it saves time and it is very convenient for the developers, especially. It can be also for test automation engineers sometimes. Okay. Now, what is method overriding?
So the method overriding is it has the same name with same parameters.
All right.
And in method overriding, we use extend keywords to inherit into the child class, so that we have all the access from the main class.
Okay. So you are saying in method overriding, there will be same method and same parameter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to
use the extend keywords.
Yeah, you have to inherit.
We have to inherit, yes.
Inherit from superclass by a child class, and overriding will be implemented in the child class, right?
Yes.
Because before you override the method, you have to inherit it from parent class. And actually, method name and parameter will be the same. But in method overloading, parameter will be different.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Now there is one more IDE I want to make you familiarize, because some company might work with IntelliJ IDE. Okay, this is IntelliJ IDE. IntelliJ IDE is a very straightforward. You can go to IntelliJ IDE and just copy. Usually in the interview, they ask how many IDE you are familiar with. Just tell them I'm familiar with major IDE, and among them Eclipse IDE and IntelliJ IDE. IntelliJ. Okay, just practice several times and it will, you never know what IDE people are using. So IntelliJ IDE is becoming more and more popular nowadays, but still Eclipse IDE is incomparatively more popular, but it is getting popular. So just download, then just choose community. If you download with Ultimate, it might charge you after 30 days. So go with this. Just straightforward. Next, 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 next. Okay. Then you will have.
So we download the community, right?
Yeah, community edition. Then just you can choose from here, type here. Just when type I, it will pop up. Then double click and it will open. Okay. So here is my IntelliJ IDE. To create a project, go to new, then click on project. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. So just go to new, then go to project, then put the name of the project here, okay? So you can name actually anything. Say, for example, automation, or I can say task automation. Now, remember in Eclipse, we need to configure, we need to download, we need to configure Maven, right? Do you remember?
Yes.
But in IntelliJ, it comes with Maven. You see, Maven is there.
Already there.
Yeah, Maven is there. So you have to click it. Even create Git repository. Git repository is automatically will be created if you check in. So in Eclipse, there are some problems with Git. Sometimes it creates problem, maybe, yeah, in some computers, it doesn't want to work with. But in compared to Eclipse IDE, IntelliJ is more compatible with Git and GitHub. Okay, then create. Maybe Eclipse IDE is going to upgrade it very soon, since most of the IDEs are now integrated with terminal, and that's make this IDE getting popular day by day, because it's more convenient for the programmers. Okay, create, just click on create, make sure you click here, create, and you want this window or you want separate. I go for separate window. Okay. You see, Maven is included here. Now, just what do you need? Just you have to create dependencies. Okay. And you can now go with different dependencies. Just go to Maven and paste here different software dependencies. So it's almost ready. All right.
We can use test-ng as well in here, right?
Yeah, we can use test-ng here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then you see .idea, there is a file. We don't need to touch it even. There is source file. And inside the source file, we have main file that is Java programming, for Java programming, for the developers, for the programmers. And for the testers, this folder. Okay. So when you write programming code, you just click here, go to Java and create folder, I mean packages. Okay. And here is about OOP, say for example, OOP Java. And inside the Java, you can actually create any Java class. You can say,
I think it's more easy than Eclipse.
yes, more comfortable. That is,
I like this one.
that is why companies are switching in using IntelliJ. Maybe when you will be joining a company, maybe they are using IntelliJ or Eclipse, vice versa, but you should practice a little bit so that you can tell them, yes, I work with IntelliJ too. Okay, now just type main, then control spacebar. The only disadvantage is you can just type and say CISO, then control spacebar. It doesn't work really. You have to type it the system, okay, then out, okay, then print ln. Okay. Only this little drawbacks. Other than everything is much better and easier than Eclipse IDE. Okay, now just run it. And one more thing. It takes a little time to compile, you know, you see here, it was compiling. Now, I think your computer is facing problem with Eclipse IDE. I actually forgot what was the problem. The codes are not being pushed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we will not face a problem with this IDE. Just go to GitHub. GitHub, what is GitHub? GitHub.com. Why it's asking for password? Actually, I never use password. It just sets. I forgot the password actually. Okay. Okay, here. Okay, say for example, Java OOP. Actually, I pay every month, so I can make it private. If you want to make it private, then you have to pay, I think, $4.99 per month. You will get much more features to use. So I prefer to use the professional one, $4 or $5 per month. Okay, create repository. Then just take the HTTP link, then go back. And here is terminal, you see? Click on terminal. Very straightforward, and say git add all. And then say git commit -m initial commit. Okay. Then say git remote add origin. So we are connecting the remote repository, and the link is here. I just copied it from my GitHub my repository java-oop, enter, then just say git push u origin. You can say master or main. Both are actually almost same, master and main. It was earlier master, but recently Git is using the word main, okay? So when you put main in some computer, it might not work. You see, fail to push. So I better suggest you to work with master. It works. Understand? So Git, you see, master had recent pushes less than a minute. So this is main, right? In the main, you cannot see anything, but when you switch to master, you can see everything I have in my project. Clear? Are you there, Jahid?
Yes, I think by using this ID, we don't have to put the GitHub password, just like the Eclipse.
Yes, usually maybe for the first time, it will ask for you for the first time. Since I am using every single day and my company is working with this ID. So it's not asking for any password. Okay, the steps to push codes into GitHub. Step 1. First, just
Create a repository.
Choose GitHub while creating project. Do you remember? I check in the GitHub, create GitHub repository. Do you remember?
Yes.
when I create a project, I check in, create Git repository. Some computers automatically check in, but sometimes it may not check in. So remember to check in. Okay. Then click on Maven, then create. So first step, while you creating project, you check in. Then step 2, just say git add on. Step 3, git commit -m. You can write message, initial commit or anything. Created necessary files and folders, you can say it. Then step 4, git remote and origin. then remote repository link. Okay, you understand, right?
Yes.
I git push. For the first time, you have to write under dash u. Okay, origin. You can try with main. If it doesn't work with master. Actually, this is created recently by Git. Previously, they used to work with master, and still master is working much better than with main. It really doesn't make any difference. You can use either one. Still, my company is working with master because main sometimes doesn't work. Like Eclipse IDE, sometimes it creates problem. And later, if you push second time, Git just push. You don't need to write again and again dash u origin main or master. Okay, very simple, right? Okay, and rest are very same, and this terminal is very similar to Git version control. Everything same. Now, I think object-oriented programming is fine, but I want to recap with some concept. Maybe I want to try whether the concept is clear. So what are the relationship with class and object? Can you tell me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the class is nothing but blueprint template that helps creating the object. And if we say what is object, then it's an instance of the class, where class is always a logical entity, and I believe object is logical and physical entity. And the purpose of creating object is to access the properties and methods of the class.
Okay.
And inside the class, we have methods, variables, fields, properties constructed.
That's really good. Why do we need to create object?
Why do we have to create the object?
Yes.
So that we can access the methods, variables, and fields. Is it correct?
Yes. Yes, it is correct. Do we access the methods and properties? using object.
Yeah. Do we access properties?
You said,
yes.
You said we need to create object to access the properties and methods.
Correct.
Do we access properties and method using object?
It depends.
It depends. How?
It depends on methods, just like for the static methods, without creating the object, we can access it. And for like
the answer is
okay.
Not directly. In one sense, it is yes. We are using object, then accessing, but not directly, because we are not directly using object. Rather, we are using, because we are using reference variable of the object, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reference variable with dot operator. So these are concepts, and interviewer usually they want you to be clarified. Actually, they want to test you whether you have clear the concepts. It is because if you have the concept clear, it is really within maybe a week training, you can work in any project. But if the concept is not clear, actually, it really takes time to understand the language, the logic, the structure, the concept, and the syntaxes. Really takes time, maybe a couple of months. But if you have concept clear on object-oriented programming, you can pick up any programming language within a week, and you can learn any framework within a week. Okay, but if you don't have clear concepts in programming, it is not possible. That is why companies are looking for people who does have really clear concepts in object-oriented programming. Okay, then what are the difference between static and non-static methods?
Okay, so for the static method, we can access the static method without creating any object. And for the non-static, we can't access the non-static without creating object.
We don't need to create
object
to access all the properties and methods. But in non-static, we cannot access those properties and methods without creating object. Okay. What is constructor?
What is constructor?
Yes.
So constructor is a special method that is used to initialize the objects.
Special method that is used to
initialize
values of the object, right?
Yes.
Do we need to create constructor for every class? If not, why?
No, because constructor, like, it's comes immediately as soon as we create the object from the class.
Not really. Why? Because every class comes with a constructor by default is invisible. Okay, that is invisible. We cannot see it, but if we create a class, JVM Java created constructor by default. Okay, but if we need to write a lot of codes to save time, we can use constructor, because if we need to create a lot of objects, we have to redefine, reassign the values again and again. If we need to create 50 objects, we have to reset the values 50 times or 100 times. Okay, so if we have a lot of attributes and we have to create a lot of objects, then we generate constructor. And in Eclipse, we know how to generate it, but in here, we just right button click, go to generate, okay? And just click on constructor. Okay, for overriding, override. And for get and set method, whenever we declare properties, there will be another option, generate get and set.
Okay.
Okay. For example, maybe I can show you one example. Say, for example, I have int h string name. Okay. I can just go to generate. And now you see, for getter method, I have getter. For setter method, I have setter. And if I need getter and setter method, I can just click on getter and setter method and just click on OK. See, everything is generated in just single click. Okay, just a minute, please. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's more convenient than Eclipse IDE, but it looks like more spacious and this side little congested. But I like it because in many ways, it's more easier to use this IDE, especially for the developers. It's really convenient. And we, the developers, software engineers, we also do unit testing with JUnit, and sometimes we also use TestNG, okay, for unit testing. But automation engineers, they use mostly nowadays BDD Cucumber, behavior-driven development framework. And previously, TestNG was most popular even 2 years ago. But nowadays, BDD Cucumber becomes more popular than TestNG. Okay. So we will be learning BDD Cucumber first and go for TestNG later. Okay, Jahid, we maybe skip one more concept. I don't know whether you are comfortable with, and that is, we didn't discuss arrays. In automation, arrays play a very important role.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
like the type casting.
Sorry?
Did you mean like something related with the type casting?
Not really, but in framework, we have to do a little bit data type testing, data-driven testing, like using maybe TestNG, even in BDD Cucumber, we use lots of data, In that case, we have to use a lot of times the arrays. Now, could you please tell me what is array?
Array is something they have like multiple variables, I think so, and then we skip something like from the system.
Actually, not multiple variables. Arrays are variable. Arrays are variable, but it's special variable because in variable we store just one data, one single data. Like in name, this is variable. We are storing just a name. In age, we are storing just a single data. But in variable, we store multiple data. So you can say arrays are variables that are used to store multiple data. Now, when you will tell it, interviewer will ask you, is array a variable? Yes, it is. Then if we can use variable, why we will use arrays? Or what are the differences between arrays and variables? What will be your answer? What are the differences?
I'm not sure.
The answer is, when we develop a framework or develop any application or software, we need to store multiple data. And with a variable, we can store only single data. So when we need to store multiple data, we need special kind of variable, and this is an array. In array, we can store multiple data, more than one. But in a variable, we can store only single data, right? Okay. Now, let's create a package. In Java. Do you remember how do you create array?
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit, okay. That's fine. Let's take very simple array. I think it's like vehicles. Say, for example, and these vehicles as main method. Okay. And inside the main method, I can create array, and it is string, and I say cars. Name of the array is cars. So since this is name of the array, array is also kind of variable that stores multiple data, and inside the curly braces, we can store multiple data.
I'm having issue creating like the package and classes on this new IDE.
Could you please repeat?
I'm having issue like creating a new package.
Creating new package.
Mm-hmm.
Please share your screen.
Oh, never mind. I got it.
Okay. So Tesla, is the spelling like TE? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's correct.
Honda, I say Toyota. BMW. So we have 4. And array, and you are familiar with index, right?
Which one?
Index.
What is index?
Like array index. In programming, in any programming language, index starts with 0.
0. Okay. Yeah.
So this is 1, Honda is 1, Toyota is 2, BMW is
Okay.
called array index. In array, index starts with 0. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So when interviewer asks you a question about array, there is 90% possibilities to ask questions about array index 2. Okay, and remember, companies really don't care how much you are expert in automation. Okay, they know if you are expert in object-oriented programming, automation you can learn just in 1 or 2 weeks. So it is more important to excel or master on Java fundamentals and object-oriented programming than becoming master on automation to get hired. Okay. If you can satisfy the interviewer with Java fundamentals, as like variable, they might ask you variable, data types, array, looping statements. Then they might ask you a lot of questions on class and objects, methods and properties, and also constructor, method overloading, method overriding, inheritance, encapsulation, data hiding. Data hiding is encapsulation, abstractions, polymorphism, interface, all these things. If you can answer them, all these things properly with example, remember, always example is better than theories, okay? So when someone asking you a question, even if they don't ask for example, you better give them example and explain it. They will be happy. Even if you don't do really good in automation side, still you will have 99% chances to get hired. But they will start with programming. If you really fail to answer 50, 60% or 70% and really do good in automation side, you have 50% chances only to be hired. So it is very important you brush up every single day all these concepts with examples, because it is really easy to master on any framework. They are not expecting you know both TestNG and BDD Cucumber. Maybe if you know TestNG, that's fine. They understand you can be taught within a week of framework. If they just give you 6 hours lectures with examples, a video tutorial, you can learn it within a week. But programming is really, really tough. Okay, some people, they take 3 to 6 months just to understand the programming logic. You could follow and understand every concept very clearly because you did have little foundation on different programming languages as you are a student of computer science, right? So it's easier for you to understand all the concepts, but it's really difficult for some people who are not from computer background. So, and since you are from computer background, you have the preference in getting hired than any other people, those who are not from computer background. So my recommendation is practice at least 1 hour programming language and another hour in automation, always. Okay. Now, how you can access this data? Now these are data. We have multiple data here. Remember, there are words information and data. These two words can be both singular and plural. Okay. So in interview, never say informations, datas. Always for singular also data, plural also data. Information, singular, both plural. Now system dot out dot println how I can access BMW. If
we put 0.
If I print cars, what will happen? It's just giving me where these are, okay? So to access it, we have to say cars, then put the index, what I'm going to access. Maybe BMW, then index will be, index always starts from 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3. BMW, right? If we want to access Honda, how we can access it?
We put 1 on the inside the index.
Yes, we put 1. because under is in index 1. Right? So this is how we create an array and access the arrays. Even we can find the lengths of the arrays if we want to do it. We can say println cast dot length. It is on the top. We cannot see it. You see? Automatically it counts when I press enter. What will be the length? There.
I think it's 4.
Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, this is simple array or single array, but we can also create multi-dimensional arrays. How? So actually multi-dimensional array is an array of arrays. And to create two-dimensional array,
I need 2 index.
to add each array within its own curly braces. Let me show you multi-dimensional array. Where is it? Right here. Now, some interviewers, sometimes what they do about array, when they ask question about array, they just will tell you, hey, Jahid, could you please create an array and how we can access the last index of the array? How you can print the length of the arrays? Can you create multi-dimensional array? Okay. So we are creating two-dimensional, how we can create it. Main method. And to create two-dimensional array, you have to first declare actually what type of data you are going to use. So when I say int, meaning I'm going to create arrays with integers, numbers. So numbers is here variables. It can be my numbers. It can be double numbers. It can be any numbers or just my num. Okay. And array, when you're creating dimensional array, two-dimensional, so it will be array within array. So interview questions sometimes can be, what is array within array? So when we are creating two-dimensional array, we say array is with curly braces. So I have two arrays. So I have another two curly braces. Then semicolon. And I can put here anything. It can be 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. And there can be 5, 15, 25, 35. So now I have, this is one array. This is another array. And these two arrays are within an array, right? So when someone asks you to create two-dimensional array, you have to create an array like this and you have to clarify everything, how it is created. Okay. Now I say int x, or it can be anything actually. I say numbers. Okay. And I say one and two. Then just print system dot out dot print ln. Just I'll print x. So
how it's come like 25?
it's more about logic. Okay. So how output comes here 25. Can you find it out?
Is it 20 plus 5 or 10 plus 50?
To access the elements of numbers array, we specify two indexes. One of the array and one of the element inside the array. So this example is accessing the second array, one of the numbers, second array of the numbers. So second array is 25. This is first, this is second, and this is the third. So in index, this is second. Okay. Are you familiar with tutorial points? Tutorial point is good for Java tutorial. Okay. And you can also go through W3 schools. Okay. For interview, it will be really helpful, especially the theories. You already know the practical, but maybe if you read every single day, like 15, 30 minutes from tutorial points or from W3 school, it will really help you to master on the topics, especially in explaining things, that theory with example. I always recommend to answer the question with example. It can be simple example, but it shows that you have that mastery over the concept, and you will be able to solve the problems. Actually, companies are looking for people who are facing problems a lot of times, but they can solve it. Okay. So what we do every single day, we face a lot of challenges in our tech world. But every single day we Google or we search on search engines, go to W3 schools, tutorial points, or YouTube, okay, whatever, and we solve the problem. So you may not know a lot of things, but at least you can look for it and solve the problem. And that is the purpose why companies are hiring us, to solve the problem. Okay. All right. So this is called multi-dimensional arrays. Usually, even you can have 3 arrays within an array. You can have 4. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
So on the 8th number line, we put on the index 1 and then 2. So the 1 indicates to the number 7 line for the second braces.
This one?
Yeah. So this is called 1, right?
Yes, yes, because this is 0 index. The array is in 0 index. And this is in 1 index. So this is 1. And from
25 is
array, we are accessing also index 2. You understand?
Yeah, that makes sense right now. Yeah.
So this array is 0 in 0 index, and this array is in index 1. Again, from this index 1, we are accessing the second array. The second array, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So 2 is 25.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now what are the difference between abstraction and interface?
Okay, so it's under the okay. So abstraction is the process of hiding certain and sensitive data and details. It shows very essential limited data to the users. And what was the other one?
Interface. What are the difference? I ask, what are the difference?
I think the difference is like for the abstraction we use abstraction class. We use like the keyword abstract, and for the interface we use the interface class. Is it right?
Okay, you are correct, but what you have to tell them is in abstraction, the method can be both with body and without body. Okay. So in abstraction, there can be method like public, void, make. Okay. And it can be also public, void, stick. So it can be both without body and with body. With body means with curly braces, right?
Yeah.
But in interface, every method will be without. You cannot have with body method. So this is one difference. And another one is in abstraction, you have to first inherit it. So you have to use the word extends keyword. But in interface, since you don't have body, you have to first implement the body. Okay. So instead of extends keyword, we use implements. Okay. We are serving the purpose same. We are hiding data and giving limited access to the sensitive data or very, very limited data that are necessary to show different classes or different users. But there are two differences. In abstraction, we can have two types of
body.
With body and without body. But in interface, only without body. You cannot have with body because in interface, we are implementing this. And that is why we are using the keyword implements instead of extends. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very, very important question. So Jahid, I think now you are more confident than earlier.
Yes.
আমার তো মনে হচ্ছে যে প্রথম ইন্টারভিউতেই আপনি ভালো করবেন।
ইনশাল্লাহ ভালো করবো, কারণ আমার আগের থেকে কনসেপ্ট অনেক ইজি আর ক্লিয়ার হয়েছে। আর হয়তো প্রথম একটা বা দুইটা ইন্টারভিউতে একটু তোতলায় যাব বলতে বলতে, কিন্তু বাকিগুলোতে মনে হয় যে সব ঠিক থাকে না।
ওকে, ফাইন। আর আরেকটা ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক যখন মানে দখলে থাকবে তখন আরো মোর কনফিডেন্ট হবে।
আমরা তো ফ্রেমওয়ার্কের ভিতরে তো এগুলো সব ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করবো, right?
ফ্রেমওয়ার্কের ভেতরে সরাসরি এগুলো ব্যবহার হবে না, বাট ইমপ্লাইড। তো এগুলো অনেক হেল্প করবে আমাদেরকে ফ্রেমওয়ার্কটা বোঝার জন্য।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
বুঝতে পারবো ফ্রেমওয়ার্কটা কিভাবে কাজ করছে। আমরা যখন অবজেক্ট তৈরি করছি, আমরা তখন জাভার কনসেপ্টটা আমাদের কাজ করবে। আমরা যখন রেফারেন্স ভেরিয়েবল ব্যবহার করছি, ঠিক আছে, যখন আমরা অ্যাবস্ট্রাকশন ব্যবহার করছি, বা আমরা যখন অ্যাবস্ট্রাকশন ছাড়াও কি আছে ইন্টারফেস যখন ব্যবহার করছি, হাউ ডাজ ইট ওয়ার্ক, আমরা এগুলো বুঝতে পারবো আর কি সহজেই। লজিক গুলো আমরা বুঝতে পারবো কেমনে কি হচ্ছে। সরাসরি আমরা হয়তো বা প্রোগ্রামিংটা আমরা ওখানে ব্যবহার করছি না, কিন্তু প্রোগ্রামিং কনসেপ্টটা ওখানে ব্যবহার করছি অনেক। ঠিক আছে, কোডের মধ্যে মানে প্রোগ্রামিং লজিক গুলো কাজ করছে, কিভাবে কাজ করছে সেটা আমরা তখন ইজিলি বুঝতে পারবো যে এটা কেন হচ্ছে। অলরাইট, অলরাইট, আজকে যেটা করলাম এটা হলো যে আরেকটু আমরা রিক্যাপ করলাম, এটা একটু আবার রিক্যাপ করবেন। আমরা নেক্সট ক্লাস থেকে সেলেনিয়াম ফান্ডামেন্টালস হয়তো বা 3-4টা ক্লাস করবো, তারপর আমরা ফ্রেমওয়ার্কে চলে যাব। রাইট, তো আমি প্রোগ্রামিং এর কোশ্চেন করব, বাট আমরা প্রোগ্রামিং প্র্যাকটিস করব না আর কি। কিন্তু প্রতিদিন আমি 15-20 মিনিট জিজ্ঞেস করব, যাতে কনফিডেন্টলি বলতে পারেন।
আচ্ছা।
All right, that's all for tonight. See you tomorrow.
Okay.